In this video, I'll show you how to create a database on Notion. A database is a slightly more sophisticated type of page which allow you to structure information of all kinds. Databases are actually smarter than spreadsheets, with a few differences that I'll point out. Okay, so here I have my to-do list. I am opening my store in different countries and cities, and these are the city names I want to open my store in. This is just a simple to-do list, but I want to have a more detailed view of my proposed locations. But this doesn't really tell me that much. For example, what is the anticipated opening date? What will the location look like? Some of those type of questions. What is the status? And I don't get that from just a to-do list. So I want a much more detailed view, and I think a database might help me with this. I will type in the forward slash, and here I will type in database. And here we have all types of databases that we can insert. And I just want a simple full page database. I will select this option, and later on we will see how you can start with the database, and then you can convert the view of the database into all of these other types. So let's select full page for now and check that out. We now have a new database. That's how easy it is to make your own database. Over on the left hand side, let's expand proposed location, and here we see the new database is basically a subpage of proposed locations, and right up here I can type in a name for this database. I will type in detailed view of proposed locations. And although database might sound somewhat horrific, it's really just a simple table with lots of information in it. And I want to use this database or this table to track all of the different locations we are planning and opening at the smart store. So to start off, I need to give these different columns name. Here I will click into this column, and instead of name, I will call this city. Over here, instead of tags, let me change this to the anticipated opening date. For the anticipated opening date, I will click on type, and let me change this to type date. Over here, I could also add additional columns. I will click on this plus icon, and I also want to add the status. So how far are we along at opening this location? I will select status, and when I select that, here I can see these different status: not started, in progress, or done. That will be really helpful as we track these different projects. I will close out this side pane. Lastly, I will add one additional column for files. This way we can share a picture of the location. I will click on this plus icon, and here there's the option for files and media. So you can add all of these different type of properties to your database, whether it's text, numbers, multi-select. I already added dates, especially when you are collaborating. You could add other people, so well worth looking through this list to see all of the different type that you can add. Here I will select files and media, and this looks good. I will close this out. My database is starting to take a shape, but I need to add some of the cities where we want to open locations. So I will go through and fill out some of the information. I have now added some details to this table, and one thing you might be wondering is, well, what is the difference between just a standard table and a database? I mean, you could store all of the same information just directly in a table. Well, let's take a look at what some of these differences are. When I hover over New York, here you will see that I have the option to open additional details or a side peek. Let's click on that. That opens up a pane over on the right hand side, or the side pick with New York. And as I hover over the title, here you will see that I can add an icon. I can add a cover. So this is just another page with details. Right on top, I can see the properties or the columns related to this location. And down below, I can build an entire page related to this one specific store. So within a database, you can store all sort of information related to each one of these records in your database. Here I'll minimize the side panel. Along with being able to add more details related to each record within your database, down below you can also add calculations. Here I will click on this, and let's say I want a count of all of the new location we are planning and opening. Right here I can click on count all, and this adds a count to the bottom of that column. Over here under the anticipated opening date, here too I will click on calculate, and here I could add the earliest date. So now we have got the earliest opening date. Under this column, I could also click on calculate and maybe I want a percent per group. So let's see what percent is already done. Here I will click on complete and here I can see the percentage. With databases, you can also filter and sort your data. Here I'll click on the anticipated opening date column, and when I click on that, I have the option to sort, and I can also filter the data. I can also access filters right up here, and I can also access my sorting options. To the right of filter and sort, I can also search against my database. When I click on this, let's say I just want to see my Toronto location, I could type that in and that filter down this database table to just that store. It's that easy. I will close that. To the right, I also have the three dots, and here I have some additional settings that I can configure. The beautiful thing about using a database is that you can visualize your data in different ways. All of the underlying data stays the same, but you just get different views on it. Over on the left hand side, let's click on this plus icon. This opens up a pop-up over on the side where I can decide what type of view I want to add. And you have different options here. Now I already have a table view. That's the initial view here. But for this new view, I can add another one. So here let's select the board view. I think that looks interesting. Down below, I can configure various settings related to this view. Here I will click into groups by, and over here let's click into this. And I want to group by the current status. I will select I will select that and then close this. I will select that and then close this out. So here I can see my board view. It shows all the location that we are opening up and the current status. Now we have made some progress on Toronto, and it's now all done. Here I can click on that card and here I can drag it over into done. If I go back to the table view up above, here I can see that Toronto has now updated. So the underlying data is the same across all views. This flexibility allows you to choose the most suitable representation for your data depending on your needs and preferences. Up on top, I can click on the plus icon again and I can add yet another view to my data. So here I will select the calendar view and then I will click done. Here I will close this out and here I have my standard calendar. But one of the interesting thing now is I can view all of the different stores are opening in a calendar view. So once again, all of the underlying data is the same. The only difference is how I view all of this data. And if I make any changes here, that will tie back to those other views. Here too, I can also click into one of the stores and that opens up all of the page details. So database are so powerful and you can contain so much data and view that data in different ways. To get back to any of the other views, here I can simply scroll all the way back up to the top and here I can jump between the different views. But also over on the left hand side in the sidebar, here I can expand this section and I see all of these subpages with all of the different views. So here I have my table, my board, my calendar. It's really quick and easy to navigate back to all of these different views. I hope you see by going through this that database are so powerful and have so much more functionality than just your standard table.